This is Puppets by Arlie. I'm Arlie, and this is Puppet Building Book Recommendations. So here are some of the books that I recommend for other styles of puppet building. First I got Puppets and Puppetry by Peter Fraser. Now, he's the same author that did Puppet Circus, which is one of my favorite marionette books. This is his book that also covers rod puppetry and hand puppetry. Be forewarned, he includes the same marionette chapter that he did in Puppet Circus, and building techniques with wood for rod puppets. A good resource. Figure making can be fun, ? This is an amazing book, and it's the best one on this subject that is available. So you have to get it. This talks about making a ventriloquist figure, and it has how to build all the mechanisms in a ventriloquist figure. So it'll include how to build the head, an eye mechanism, blinking, tongue, ear wiggling, how to cast the hands and feet, even a tongue mechanism. A must-have. Now, by the same author, Michael Brose, Winker mechanics can be fun. But he puts a question mark because sometimes puppet building is frustrating, and he acknowledges that. Anyway, this is an entire book on how to build a blinking eye mechanism, which is a very sought after eye mechanism. It breaks down how to rig up your strings and springs. Very good book. This is one I forgot to include in my marionette recommendations, but this is Cloth Marionettes, Sewing, Stringing, and Staging. And this just has patterns and the whole process of how to build a sewn marionette based off of a ragdoll design. Really cute book. Now, when it comes to foam puppets, there's a really great book called The Foam Book, an easy guide to building polyfoam puppets. This is a neat book. It starts with the idea of taking polyfoam and pinching it and seeing what type of designs you can come up with. And it has a lot of tips of how to work with polyfoam, from patterning it and sculpting it. And it comes up with this really neat way to sculpt your own foam puppet head by using what they call a three-part puppet head with a front and a back and a jaw. A really neat book. I recommend it. With that, for costuming, we have The Well-Dressed Puppet, a guide to creating puppet costumes. This is a nice book because if you don't know how to sew, it guides you through the process. And it shows several different types of puppets that you may have to costume, going from a full body puppet to like a different shape type of puppet. And it shows how to do a dress with sleeves and different types of hats. And it includes patterns. It also explains how to drape your own pattern. It's a good resource. Now, this is not a puppet sewing book, but I use it all the time when I'm building. It's just a general Vogue Sewing book. Like if you have to be reminded how to do a sleeve or a collar or any sewing aspect that's going to come up in garment making, I often turn to this book. And last but not least, I included this one as my favorite at the end. Foam Patterning and Construction Techniques, Turning 2D Designs into 3D Shapes. This is a great book. It shows the very difficult process of how to take something from concept art into a 3D pattern. She shows the technique of making a clay form and creating a pattern off of it, and also how to cut that same pattern out of foam. Also showing a draping technique using fabric off of a 3D model. It's a really wonderful book, and I think it's the best one that's out there on how to make patterns for 3D shapes. So I recommend. All right, there you have it. Those are the puppetry books that I recommend for puppet building. Thanks for watching.